donate.
Hello, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bets. Cause we know who we are, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocket here and stopping here. It's strange how they cannot see the future but see profit here. Wait up, we gon' always win. Hello, I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Brett Breaks Things. July 8th. We're moving right along. Tuesday's show. Got a ton to get to today. I'm actually really looking forward to today's show. Looking forward to every day's show, but today we got a ton of different things to hit. All of it's got value. I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, the tragedy in Texas continues to unfold. The death toll is up to 109 people with dozens missing. We'll keep you, up to date as we get any details that need to be, highlighted. We'll bring them to you. But obviously, complete tragedy continuing to unfold, and the numbers coming out. But we did that yesterday, and as needed, we will do that again. But in the meantime, we got some other stuff to talk about. A little bit more fun. I'm going to start with the fun. I've been wanting to get to this for the last few days as it unfolded, but I'm glad Scotty, he stiff-armed me a little bit on this. He said, let it play out a little bit, let it unfold a little bit, and it has blossomed and matured. The Elon Trump saga. It's blossoming. It's a ton of fun, to be honest with you, and it's my pleasure to bring you a little bit of a timeline, a little bit of a tweet war that built over the last month or so, culminating what we have going on now and what Musk is talking about now. I'm sure many of you have heard, but you remember Musk tweeting about the one big beautiful bill about a month ago, right? Or whatever it was, 3 weeks ago, as the details started to come out, and he didn't like the debt ceiling raise. Trump says it's all about his EV mandate. It was never a mandate. It was a deduction, but regardless, he called it disgusting. Musk did. He called it a disgusting abomination, is what he called it. So on June 5th, the tweets really started to ramp up. Musk tweeted a few times, "Without me, Trump would have lost," talking about no gratitude, floats the idea of an American party, right? Trump responded to that. "I took away his EV mandate." He went crazy. I'm going to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. That was a tweet. Musk responding to that. "Such an obvious lie, so sad. Dares Trump to cut contracts. Go ahead and make my day," is what he told Trump in one tweet. Accused Trump of being in the Epstein files, and I can't wait till we get to that, because some of you may have heard the FBI findings and their statements on the Epstein files just recently. We've got Levitt lying, Bondi lying, a ton of fun on that coming up. So, Musk accused him of being in the Epstein files. The truth will come out, Musk said. The truth will come out. He threatened to decommission SpaceX Dragon craft and said that Trump's tariffs are going to cause a recession. Trump fired back, blamed Musk for last-minute betrayal, talked about the bill. Musk, July 6th and 7th, Musk deleted a ton of posts through July 6th and 7th after that rash of posts against each other. He did delete some. And he even said on July 11th, "I regret some of my posts. They went too far." Then the timeline speeds up a little bit. I feel like Musk's dealer re-upped him. His dealer came by, and they reports of ketamine and coke and ecstasy. Now, man, somebody like Musk, he's doing like Romulan crystals or like galaxy dust, something we can't get our hands on. Whatever it is he's doing, he re-upped and fired off a number of tweets. July 1st and 2nd. "If this insane bill passes, the America Party will be formed. What's the point of a debt ceiling if we keep raising it?" Trump fired back. I was always against the EV mandate. It's not a mandate. Blasts Musk as the biggest subsidy recipient in history, suggests that Musk should go back to South Africa, and calls for Doge to review Musk's contracts. I mean, that is as petty and spiteful as you can possibly get. I love it. I can't get enough, you catty little bitch. So the tweets were delicious, and in them, Musk threatened forming a new party. And that is apparently what is going to happen. Musk announced on July 5th the formation of the America Party. The America Party. Yet another insane person appropriating our country. The America Party. Okay, well, he aims to represent centrist voters, the 80% in the middle. And he focuses on restoring freedom, fiscal responsibility, reducing federal spending, and he's going to contest a few key congressional seats. He's planning on contesting 2 or 3 Senate seats and between 8 and 10 House seats. He's going to contest for an America Party candidate. And he's got some early support. Mark Cuban, Andrew Yang, the Yang gang's behind him, Justin Amash, and Anthony Scaramucci, among others. You know what? I gotta respect Mark Cuban. I feel a lot of things about Mark Cuban, right? He's a dynamic dude. I feel a lot of things both ways about him. I enjoy Shark Tank. He's also, sometimes he speaks his mind a little too freely, and unsavory stuff comes out of his mouth every now and then. You can't be in the public limelight as long as he has and not ruffled a few feathers, even mine, which are notoriously tough to ruffle. But one thing I do respect is that he originally was a Trump guy, and then he met him. And he came away from a meeting with Trump saying, not an intelligent dude, not a good businessman, and kind of toxic and stupid. And he 180'd on Trump publicly. I respect it. It's an integrity move to come right away from a meeting with Trump saying exactly how you feel about this dude. Not enough people do that. So he's got backers, right? He's got backers. And there is precedent for this. You guys know there's precedent for this. I don't have to tell you. Most notably, Ross Perot in 1992, made famous by Dana Carvey's impression of him. Can I finish? Don't worry about old Ross Perot. I got $3 billion in the bank. I'll be okay. Remember Ross Perot? Fun little guy, made great TV. And he was the most successful. He was the most successful third-party candidate. He actually got 18.9% of the popular vote. He didn't get any states in the electoral, but 18.9% of the popular votes, not nothing. Not nothing at all. Robert La Follette in 1924, 16% of the popular vote. George Wallace in 68 with the American Independent Party. He got 13.5% of the vote and won 5 states. Currently, in the last election, third party didn't do so well. You had the Green Party. They got 0.56% of the vote. And, of course, good old RFK Jr. getting 0.49% of the popular vote. That was more recently, okay? And they did a little polling on this, actually. There has been a little polling, and it suggests that 40% of U.S. adults might vote for it. Might. Only 14% are very likely to vote for it. But that can change, right? That can change. But, I mean, we really got to ask ourselves the question immediately. What comes to your mind is, who does this hurt more? That's the question. As this gains traction, as this picks up speed, and you get names like Andrew Yang on your ticket, like Yang, he was a candidate. He wasn't ever, a viable one, but he was there at the podium. He was there at the debates. People liked Andrew Yang. I mean, nobody wanted to vote for him for president, but some people liked Andrew Yang, has himself the Yang gang. That's also not nothing. And as this gets more ground and gains more traction and gets momentum, who does this hurt? Right? That's the question. Who does this hurt? I submit, even with a name, America First Party, you are hurting the GOP. And Trump admitted that. He even said in a statement, this could hurt the GOP. You're going to cause chaos. He said other things too. We've got a ton of Trump sound. Sorry. But he even admitted this will hurt the GOP. And I agree with him. This will hurt the GOP. I don't hate it, Elon. I don't hate it. I think you're shifty and dishonest. I think you're a Bond villain. I think you have a pool full of laser sharks somewhere. I think if Bond was ever going to save us from you and your ilk, I think you killed him a while ago. I truly think you are the Bond villain, Elon Musk. I truly do. But that being said, go ahead and hurt the GOP. But I submit, Donald, that nobody could hurt the GOP as much as you have. Because, surprise, surprise, not all Republicans are MAGA. Not all Republicans see your immigration policy and laugh and crack a beer. A lot of Republicans hate what you're doing with your tariffs, hate its effect on the markets, hate foreign interference, hate the bombing in Iran, hate that you lie every time you get in front of a camera. It's not just us libtards, right? It's not just us who think you're reprehensible. You have caused more damage to the GOP than Musk ever can. And those chickens will come home to roost. Yes, we have to sit through another 3.5 years of this. Yes, we do. We will not get him impeached for anything. Doesn't matter what he does. You know that. You know that. But we can look forward to the midterms to see what kind of effect you are having on your own base when those elections start. There was an little ABC story about Elon's third party.
Donald Trump's alliance with Elon Musk was already in tatters after Musk attacked Trump's big tax and spending bill. He called it a disgusting abomination. But now Trump is taking aim at Musk's plans to create a new political party that he is calling the America Party.
Third parties have never worked, so he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
Minutes later, Trump went further, writing on social media, quote, "I am saddened to watch Elon Musk go completely off the rails, essentially becoming a train wreck." But Musk hated the big Republican tax and spending bill, what Trump called the big beautiful bill, saying every lawmaker who supported the legislation should hang their head in shame because of how much it will add to the debt.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
The president signed that new spending bill into law on Friday. Over the weekend, Musk replied to one ex-user asking what the heck was the point of Doge if he's just going to increase the debt. Musk even issued a threat to every Republican voting for it, saying they will lose their primary next year if it is the last thing I do on this earth. It doesn't appear that Musk has filed formal paperwork for his new political party yet. He's got the money, if he does, to get things started. But, George, he is a long, long, long way from creating a party that could actually be a threat to Democrats and Republicans.
I disagree. He's a threat to Republicans. I disagree with that last bit. He's a threat to Republicans. Bannon trashed Elon. He knows it's a threat to the GOP. He rushed to the mic to trash Elon and his ideas of a third party. And Mark McKinnon, co-founder of No Labels, which is an organization dedicated to bipartisanship and political problem solving, he went on an interview and said, look, Americans don't want Coke or Pepsi anymore. They want to try 7-Up or Mountain Dew. We'll see if he's right.
It's time for a quick break. Then we break some more. You're listening to Brett Breaks Things. You're listening to Brett Breaks Things. Pushing back, speaking up, and holding the line.
All right, so kind of exciting, a third party. We'll see what happens with that. But why is Elon so mad, right? Why is Elon so upset? He's so upset because the debt ceiling was raised, and maybe he is super upset about the EV mandate that was never a mandate. Maybe he is super upset about that as well, okay? But there's a lot to be upset about. Russ Vought doesn't think so. You remember Russ Vaught in that secret meeting talking about we want litigation on top of litigation. We want to tie them up so we can do whatever we want and nobody will be able to keep up. We'll have lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. We'll attack the judicial, district judges. We'll attack other lawyers. We'll attack, political rivals. Remember that hidden video? Russ Vaught, the co-author of Project 2025, one of the esteemed authors. I know a lot of evil chiefs were involved in that little project, but he is one of them. And now he is our director of United States Office of Management and Budget. So it's only natural he would have comments about the one big ugly ass bill, right? Let's hear from Russ Vaught, unfortunately.
It is a home run. There's like no downside to this bill. This is not one where you have to say the kind of pros and cons. It's all good. And that is the story we're going to continue to explain to people as we focus in on each aspect of the bill that was put together to try to get as much through from a procedural standpoint through reconciliation.
See, you said the quiet part out loud, Russ. That's the story we're going to, the story. Because that's all it is, fiction. He didn't say, these are the facts. That was Freudian. No doubt in my mind that was Freudian. This is the story we're going to tell you. This is the spin. This is the propaganda we're going to continue to tell you. The waste, the fraud, the abuse. It's all good. Home run. Home run. Even though it's one of the most unpopular pieces of legislation to ever come out of our Capitol. Even though it caused dissension amongst your ranks, they all fell in line to the threats, of course. But, Tillis didn't, right? He's gone. He's out of here. Who else may be out of here? No, it's all good. No, it's all good. It's a home run. All good. There's all sorts of crazy crap jammed in this bill. You know that, right? It's almost 1,000 pages. I don't care how many aides you have. There's no way you feel confident about every aspect of this bill. No way. Senate, House, I don't care who you are. There's too much garbage crammed in. We don't even know who read it and who didn't read it. With MTG and others saying, I didn't actually read it, like in front of a camera with a microphone working. I didn't read it. I voted for it, but I didn't read it. So here's just a couple of the things that are jammed in here. Just a couple. I just want to do a couple, and we're going to keep it Oscar Mike. We're going to keep it on the move. One thing we're paying for in this, now don't forget, we went and got Doge to cut all this spending, right? Because we tried to pay for these tax cuts for the billionaires. Didn't come close, but we tried, right? We sent Doge in with a mission. Cut the waste, cut the fraud, cut the abuse. Make it fiscally make sense to do the bidding of our billionaire taskmasters. They didn't come close. But what did they do? What did they do in this one big, beautiful bill? Well, they spent $85 million to move the retired Space Shuttle Discovery from D.C. to Houston's Johnson Space Center. Why don't you just leave it where it is and put the $85 million back into Medicaid? What are we doing? What are we doing? Millions, $45 million for your military parade. $85 million to move a retired space shuttle? That's a priority of this administration? That's what they voted for? Don't forget to mention that to Grandma when she gets kicked out of her nursing home. Grandma, there's a really nice bridge just near the overpass. And on the way there, consider how awesome it is we're moving the Space Shuttle Discovery. Kennedy Center renovation. This one makes me nervous. $257 million allocated to renovate the Kennedy Center. Now, why does this make me nervous? Brett, why does that make you nervous? That's a good thing, right? It would be a good thing in the hands of somebody who I trust, in the hands of an administration that I trust. I would trust that they're making necessary, awesome renovations to make it a place that people want to go to make it better than it is now. I do not trust them. In my mind, where did my mind settle immediately? They're going to take away things that are DEI or woke and add authoritarian themes. That's where my mind landed. You know, gun silencer deregulation, because that was a priority. That was on everybody's mind during the last election. This darn regulation of gun silencers. I got all these people I got to kill quietly. And this gun silencer regulation is just putting the kibosh on my spree. Well, no more. No more. The 200 fee and registry for silencers and short barrel rifles have been eliminated. That's a win. Yeah, that's right. Andrew Clyde, who pushed that through, his gun stores are going to be benefited. Him personally. The guy who owns a number of gun stores sells this equipment. Yeah, this is in Georgia. Thank you, Scotty. In Georgia. So Andrew Clyde got his gun deregulation. Great. Optics on that are great with all the gun violence in this country right now. Let's make it quieter. All this gun violence we're having, let's make it quieter. And of course, don't forget that whaling deduction, the whaling captain deduction that Lisa Murkowski got, her little payout, right? Her little bribe for voting for this bill. There's something interesting in this bill as well. And this affects casinos, sports betting, lotteries, poker, raffles, fantasy sports. A weird change in the gambling federal taxes. You see, when you gambled in this country, you used to be able to deduct your losses. Okay? Just like if you have a job that requires you to drive all over the place, you can deduct the price of the car and you can deduct all your gas. You deduct your losses. Gamblers did the same thing. They used to be able to deduct their losses. That has changed. Now they can only deduct up to 90% of their losses. So, let's say you're a professional gambler. You spent $200,000 gambling last year. You won $100K. You lost $100K. You now pay $10K in taxes. You lost. You lost on both ends. It didn't used to be that way. It's got the gambling institutions up in arms. Some people think it's going to force people overseas or to illegal bettors. More dark money, more back alley money through dark channels, illegal channels. A lot of consequences to this. That fight is not over. I promise you, that fight's not over. There's a lot of money in gambling in this country, and they're not going to take this quietly. They're not going to take that laying down. There is one thing that I actually like. I mean, you can't have 900 pages of something and say, I hate all of it. It's all 100% bad. Nothing is that way. Everything has nuance, even if it's just a little bit. There's an auto loan interest deduction. If you want to drive sales back to America, right? If you want people to buy American cars in this instance, this is how you do it. Not tariffs across the board and a tariff war with our allies and all sorts of crazy crap you're doing. This is how you do it. If you buy a new U.S. built vehicle, you can deduct up to $10,000 a year on that vehicle. The estimated average savings will be somewhere around $500 a year for estimated average. I have no problem with that. That's a nice incentive to buy an American vehicle. That much, up to that much per year, depending on how much I spend. If it's just a new U.S. vehicle, I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is the EV tax credit repeal. Gone. It was a tax credit. It was never a mandate. It was a tax credit. It's gone. It's gone. And of course, all the clean energy incentive stuff is gone. There's a lot of crazy stuff crammed into here. And by the way, if you're upset about the healthcare cuts, Medicaid, Medicare, if you're upset about that, Nancy Mace has a message for you. Let's hear from Nancy Mace about your complaints.
So I know you've been very vocal in supporting the reforms included in the Medicaid part of this, but really, do you think that this will push able-bodied Americans to actually get a job?
Well, I hope that it is some sort of an incentive to do that. And if you're able-bodied, my policy is you should get a job and work for the United States of America. Be a productive member of society, because what we have found is that when people get on the government dole, when they find these programs, they live off of them, they don't have the incentive to go back to work and be a productive member of society. Life is more fulfilling when you can work and should work.
Once again, if you are taking advantage of any of these government assistance programs, if you are on Medicaid, Medicare, the ACA, SNAP, receiving disability, go get a job. If you get cut, go get a job. 17 million people are going to get cut. Every single one of them is waste, fraud, abuse. Every single one of those 17 million people, they need to go get a job. Troy Nels had something to say. What a charming individual this guy is.
Can I ask you, though, about the CBO score and the idea that 11 million, 12 million Americans may lose health insurance?
I don't have any faith and confidence in the CBO. They're scoring. They're wrong half the damn time. I don't give any. No,
so
I'm not worried about the CBO.
You're not worried at all that Americans may lose their health care?
Oh, well, just some Americans that aren't Americans, and that is the illegals. Why should illegals be on Medicare? Shouldn't have it. We did a great job with it all. We did a great job. I appreciate it. The American people spoke. The American people spoke, and the elected representatives spoke today. And what did we do? We supported and passed this one big, beautiful bill. So now you got to accept it and absorb it, because it's the right thing to do for the American people.
Okay. I got a lot to unpack here. I'm sorry. Troy Nels, first of all, I went digging on those bandages on his hands. I couldn't find anything, so I have landed on he owes somebody money, and they beat his hands with a baseball bat, or they told him to put his hands in a car door and then slammed it. That's what I'm going to go with. Because he seems like that kind of guy who would owe the wrong person a bunch of money. But aside from that, the dude's a Batman villain. Oh, well, you're off your insurance? Oh, well, whack, 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 whack. He's got a cigar. Whack, whack, whack. He's a Batman villain. Dude, what are you? They still make you? What are you? Honestly, well done, Troy Nels. I mean, if you're gonna take that route, go all the way. We need more heels, right? Real heels, right? But Nancy Mace and Troy Nels, they won Best Personality, Male and Female on the Hill. No, obviously two equally reprehensible individuals who are here to tell you that if you get kicked off your health care, it's on you. You need to go get a job. Grandma's out of her nursing home, go get a job, Grandma. Your uncle's off his disability, go get a job. You are waste, you are fraud, you are abuse. Only the fraudsters complain, remember?
Breaking politics, breaking narratives, breaking news. But first, we need a coffee break. Brett breaks things, where the stakes are high and the truth still matters.
All right, so details on the One Big Beautiful Bill are coming out. We'll keep you apprised. Just want to fill you in on just a few details, right? Just a few things. See how you feel about them. Float them. See what's up. We're going to keep it moving. I told you we're going to keep it Oscar Mike today. We're going to keep it on the move. Trump said a bunch of things over the last couple days. We didn't get a chance to get to all of it yesterday, but I promised you a bunch of Trump sounds, and I'm going to bring you those Trump sounds. I know you just can't wait to hear more from this guy, as if we haven't heard enough for a lifetime from this dude. Well, you're going to hear more. You're going to hear more. Now, I'm going to get into immigration again a little bit, and we're going to keep it moving. I'm going to try to get through quite a few things here. But I wanted to open up with this real quick because I've heard comments about it. Social media's up in arms about it. I've actually heard a couple comments in real life about it, and I wanted to play it real quick. Let's play it.
But if you love them or if you love somebody that you're leaving it to, think of that. No death tax, no estate tax, no going to the banks and borrowing from, in some cases, a fine banker, and in some cases, Shylocks and bad people. But they took away a lot of family. They destroyed a lot of families, but we did the opposite. So just remember, to me, it's so important.
King of the optics there, Don Trump. Yeah. Historically, Shylock has been an anti-Semitic trope, no doubt about it. Its origins come from a Shakespeare play, The Merchant of Venice. It's a Jewish moneylender, right? Originally, that is the original context of that, Shylock. And considering the climate, right, in the country today, with the situation in the Middle East and, anti-Semitism obviously on the rise, you'd think the dude would be a little more judicious with his wording. I do think it's fair. I do think it's fair to mention that the dude's from New York. And I know that in New York, a Shylock isn't necessarily the term isn't necessarily literal. Some people know it as just a loan shark, and it was a constant theme in mob movies, mob circles, mob TV. The Sopranos, Casino, Goodfellas, all use the term Shylock to reference a loan shark, not necessarily a Jewish one. That being said, I mean, it's only a matter of time before Trump's stream of consciousness gets him in actual trouble. It appears he dodged a bullet on this one. It appears. We'll see. Now, he did have BB at the White House, and we've got video of that, and BB didn't bring it up, so maybe Trump's off the hook on this one. We'll see. There are other terms, though, that we kind of use quite a bit that also have unsavory beginnings, let's say, like gypping somebody. That actually is a derogatory term referring to gypsies. Chop chop, like hurry up, chop chop. That was originally meant to mimic Cantonese or Chinese speak and make fun of Asian Americans. This one, I was blown away. A paddy wagon. I just know it as a cop car that holds multiple people, right? Like multiple people get picked up and put in a paddy wagon and taken downtown. It's actually derogatory towards Irish. Paddy. It, like hit me like a ton of bricks. I had no idea. But and when the term was the inception of the term, it was extremely derogatory towards Irish, like really bad. So I just felt like playing that, maybe running that by you. He had more to say that day. Okay, so he had a lot to say that day. I played some of it yesterday. I'm going to play a little bit more today, but we're going to shift into immigration a little bit. This one disturbed me, and I'm going to talk about why.
Well, the illegal aliens lost 340,000, and we don't want bad for them, but look, we have a country to run, and we want to have them come in, and we want to have them help our farmers. You know, you probably saw I got myself into a little trouble because I said, I don't want to take people away from the farmers. And we're going to do something I think that's going to be good because we want all the criminals out. Everybody agrees that we're finding the criminals, the murderers, the drug dealers. We're getting them the hell out of here. But the farmers, some of the farmers, many of you sitting right here, I have 4 friends right in the 5th row. But some of the farmers, you know, they've had people working for them for years. And we're going to do something. We're working with Christie. And we're going to do something that we're going to sort of put the farmers in charge. If a farmer is willing to vouch for these people, in some way, Christy, I think we're going to have to just say that's going to be good, right? You know, we're going to be good with it. Because we don't want to do it where we take all of the workers off the farms. We want the farms to do great like they're doing right now. So,
okay, so you might remember about 2 weeks ago, he said he stood up at a rally or some kind of gathering and said, you know, we're hurting the farmers. They have all these hard workers that have been with them for years, and we're just taking them away. We're hurting the farmers. And then he just, like they do, said the quiet part out loud, I got myself in a little trouble. 24 to 48 hours after he said we're hurting the farmers and we got to do something, he tripled down on ICE raids on farms and sent his crew out to do media and talk about, no, we're getting them. We're getting them. They're criminals. We got to get them. ICE raids on farms went back through the roof. McLaughlin came out and said they're terrible people, this and that. It was full bore once again. So Taco Trump, in quintessential taco fashion, chickened out on helping the farmers keep their work staff. Well, he's circled all the way back around again. But this time he said something very disturbing. If the farmers vouch, then maybe something can be done, right? They can keep them. If the farmers vouch for them. Anybody else see a problem with that? Indentured servitude, anyone? You get your work staff out there, whatever they may be doing in the agricultural field, and you say, nope, you guys are staying an extra hour today till we get this section of the field finished. Or, yeah, I know that's not part of your job description, but you're going to do it anyway. And you're also coming in on Saturdays. And we're going to eliminate that break that we had mid-morning. Oh, you don't like any of that? Well, I no longer vouch for you. Beep, boop, 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 boop. ICE. Poke holes in it. I want to find out I'm wrong. I want to find out my interpretation of what he's saying is wrong. Because it's what he's saying. If the farmers vouch for you, we'll work something out. Well, let's just settle on that everybody who runs a farm in this country has an intact moral compass. All their scruples are completely intact. They won't take advantage of that at all. None of them. Let's just settle on that, right? What could go wrong? That's not... I'd love to hear from you. Call me, 561-270-3844. Say, Brett, you're wrong about this. Your perception of this is flawed, and tell me how. Tell me why. Tell me how it's going to be okay if something like this is implemented. Tell me it's not going to spread to other sectors. Tell me it's not going to spread to hospitality, shipping, whatever. Convince me. Because right now I'm unconvinced. Right now, that feels like a humanitarian crisis waiting to happen. And the injustices continue, those which I highlight. This one, you're going to feel how you're going to feel about this one. I can't tell you how to feel about these things. But, more and more of examples of these, like this, are coming out. These stories are coming out, and people are getting more and more uncomfortable with our immigration policy as it stands. Stories like this.
Voted for Trump. How do you feel now?
Horrible.
What did you vote for?
I voted for change, but I didn't vote for this change.
Through tears, wearing an ICE-issued uniform, Cynthia Oliveira begs the Canadian government for help.
I really do need their help. I don't want to be in here.
The mother of 3 is currently being held by ICE at this detention center in El Paso, Texas. She says her nightmare started on June 13th when she went to her green card interview.
You thought you were going to be getting your green card, but instead they arrested you. Did they trick you?
Yes. They said, look, she's getting deported immediately.
Okay. Voted for Trump. Wife got deported. FAFO? Maybe. But at some point, where does their own culpability in the situation stop and the Republican lies and propaganda begin? And yes, I'm going to say the Republican lies in terms of this situation. When you've got Republican reps telling you things, people running for office telling you things, telling you that you won't be affected, telling you that it's just going to be the criminals, it's just going to be the rapists and the murderers and the drug dealers and the gang members. When the Republican candidates in your district, if you're this gentleman or this couple, are saying things that represent your needs, right? Like maybe the Republican platform worked for this person. And on top of that, he was convinced that he and his wife wouldn't be targeted. Now, yes, Democrats shouted what the consequences of this immigration policy were going to be. We tried to tell everybody. Randy tried to sit here. Randy tried to sit here and tell everybody. A lot of people did. Kamala, I'm sorry. Oops, Kamala. A lot of people tried to warn this couple and many others, right? But still, at what point does their culpability stop and the Republicans begin? You can't just say you get what you deserve to all of these instances. It just can't be. There's not enough schadenfreude to go around. At some point, your empathy kicks in. At some point, you have to see them as victims as well. Speaking of victims, this one is heartbreaking. This one's heartbreaking. Check this out.
Y'all gotta stay. Y'all gotta stay.
So this gentleman
Y'all gotta stay.
is about to be arrested.
Sir, come on.
No.
Sir, let's go. Sir.
He's at a courthouse.
We're not doing this.
He was ordered to be deported. His family's with him, and he's getting arrested. Now watch this. See or no? That's not my name. That's not me. No. That's not me. Oh, then it's okay.
That's all we need to know is your name. That's it. Okay? We just needed to know your name.
If you needed to know his name, why didn't you figure out his name before you started ushering him out in cuffs in front of his entire family, his 3 daughters? Oh, it's okay. Oh, okay, we just needed to know your name. The dude's like, this isn't even me. That close. That close to being another tragic story. That close to what? Him being off to the South Sudan? El Salvador? Everglades? Alligator Alcatraz? Getting flooded out? That close. He says, that's not even me. And the guy's like, oh, sorry. That's all we needed to know. Now. Didn't need to know that when we were leading you away in front of your family. Hundreds of these stories. They just keep coming out. How many videos do I have to show you? I know that it's a lot. It's what a lot of MAGA voted for, but it's not what every Republican voted for. It's not what a lot of Americans voted for. It's tragic.
We'll be back to break it all down. You're listening to Brett Breaks Things. Brett Breaks Things, where the stakes are high and the truth still matters.
Same as day one, national security threats, public safety threats are always the priority. But if you're in the country legally, you're not off the table. I mean, I see people, saying we're arresting non-criminals. Well, they're in the country legally. That's our job. And we told ICE agents in the process going out looking for the bad guy. And this is the problem with sanctuary cities. When we go to the community to go find the criminal, many times they're with others that may not be a criminal target, but they're in the United States illegally. They're coming too. We're going to force immigration law. Unlike the last administration, where Secretary Mayorkas instructed ICE, you can't arrest an illegal alien for simply being here illegally. They got to be arrested, be convicted of a serious criminal offense. He rewrote the law. That's not what the law says. We're going to force law. That's what the people put President Trump in office to do, and that's what we're doing.
You didn't run on that. You ran on getting rid of the rapists, the criminals, the murderers, the gang members, and the drug dealers. That's what you ran on. Now you're moving the goalposts, all right? Now it's anybody illegal in the country. And the problem with that is a lot of the people that you're rounding up are somewhere in the immigration process. Some are asylum seekers. Some are waiting on their visa, their work visa status, student status. Some of them are getting tricked into a court date, right? You're going to have your day in court. We're going to evaluate your case in front of a judge. Come down to the court. And when they get there, your case has been dismissed. Take them away. You're resorting to underhanded, dirty tricks to rip a father of 3 daughters wrongfully out of their hands. I don't like Tom Homan. Can I just say that? I don't like this dude. I don't like him. I don't like the things he says. Honestly, he matches the distasteful nature of his business, of what he's going about doing. He is the correct ambassador for this disgusting immigration policy being enacted in this country. I don't like him, and I don't like it at all. A lot of this is Stephen Miller's doing, right? We all know that. Little ball of hate, Stephen Miller. A lot of this is his doing. A lot of Trump's policy is inspired by Stephen Miller and how he feels about large sections of the American population, and his hate for himself. A lot of self-hate going on with Stephen Miller. Been shoved in a lot of lockers. He's had a lot of swirlies, noogies. That culmination of swirlies, noogies, and locker shovings have resulted in this little hate monger that we see before us. Let's hear from him.
Ask yourself this. Why is it that Democrats are so insistent that unlimited numbers of illegals from countries that are incapable of managing their own affairs come here? Countries like Somalia, countries like Haiti, countries that have no history of successful self-government, and they want unlimited numbers of illegals from those countries and refugees from those countries to come here with no chance at the pace, the scale, the scope of arrivals.
Hold on, Stephen. Hold on. Hold your hateful rant for just a second, bud. Look at that insane chyron on Fox News. Democrats' war on ICE turns deadly. What? And I think it changes at one point. What are you, Democrats' war on ICE? What are you doing over at Fox
What has it
News?
done to our hospitals? What has it done to just traffic in our cities? Every issue that affects our quality of life, Jesse, public safety, drugs, crime, education, healthcare, waiting in the emergency room, are all exacerbated, worsened, and undermined by mass illegal immigration. ICE officers are heroes, and they need the support of the American people. President Trump is liberating our towns, just as he was promised, just as the American people overwhelmingly voted to give him a mandate to do just 5 months ago.
Who hurt you, Stephen Miller? It's not your fault. It's not your fault, Stephen. It's not your fault. How come he never talks about the good things about immigration? How come he never, ever, ever, ever mentions any contributions from immigrants to this country? The billions that they pay in taxes but do not receive the benefits from. They are the backbone of our, travel resort industry, agriculture, obviously, meat packing, shipping. There's so many ways in which they contribute to the American dream. So many for so long. How come you never ever you will sit there and denigrate all immigrants till you're blue in the face, till you literally pass out at that little desk, but you will never ever 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 mention once a positive effect the immigration has on this country, ever. And I mentioned somebody hurt this dude. Whatever happened when he was young. I guarantee it. I just want to kind of give you a little glimpse into the younger Stephen Miller. I just pulled a couple. We just pulled a couple. There was more, but we just pulled a couple. Just want to kind of show you who this guy was. You see who he is. Who was he?
I will say, and I will do things that no one else in their right mind would say or do. Am I the only one who is sick and tired of being told to pick up my trash, and we have plenty of janitors who are paid to do it for us?
Charming young man. And he said it right there. I will say and do it. And then he attacked the janitors of his school. He doesn't want to pick that impassioned speech was about not wanting to pick up his trash at school. I got another little tidbit for you. Soak this one in.
In concern to the issue of the Iraqi civilians, I think that as many of them should survive as possible, because the goal of any military conflict is to kill as few people as possible. But as for Saddam Hussein and his henchmen, I think the ideal solution would be to cut off their fingers.
Boom.
I don't think it's necessary to kill them entirely. We're not a barbaric people. We respect life. Therefore, torture is the way to go, because tortured people can live. Torture is a celebration of life and human dignity. And we need to remember that as we enter these very dark and dangerous times in the next century.
We're not barbaric. Just cut off a few fingers, because torture is a celebration of life. That is some real Hannibal Lecter type ish right there. I mean, that is real serial killer vibes right there. Torture is a celebration of life. That's a young Stephen Miller. That hate in him has festered and incubated and metastasized into what we see before us. And what do we see before us? What are the fruits of young Stephen Miller's ideology? We see it playing out before us in Los Angeles with scenes like this. Right now, LA. This is LA. This isn't Mogadishu. This isn't Sarajevo. This is LA. What an ostentatious show of force. And by the way, you get caught by that group of slow-moving, goose steppers, then you deserve to get caught. You got to see that coming, right? I mean, there was like 15 horses in that shot. They're kind of strolling along. That was MacArthur Park in LA. And that was just a show of power. That was just an authoritarian stroll through the park. No biggie. Well, it was a biggie to Mayor Karen Bass, and it was a biggie to Gavin Newsom. They had plenty to say about that. Let's hear from Karen Bass.
So this morning, it was frightening in Los Angeles to see tanks essentially rolling onto MacArthur Park. I watched a video a little later to see the troops along with mounted patrols marching through in formation at MacArthur Park, where the children that were there for their summer day camp had to leave and go into a building. So they had to hide the children because they didn't want the children to see that the park was being taken over by ICE. It was an egregious show of force. I have no idea what their purpose was. I don't even think they detained anybody. At this point in time, I think they just want to sow terror and fear around our city. And every now and then, the military, the Custom and Border Patrol, or some other federal office shows up. Los Angeles was peaceful before June 5th. We need to go back to that.
What tanks is she talking about? Here's what she's talking about.
Guys, I'm on the ground right now
Armored
by MacArthur
vehicles.
Park, where you can see law enforcement and troops, airborne police right now.
Okay, you get the idea. Can I ask a question? Real quick, we're closing out the show. Those are military troops, right? The military has been called out. The military. Now, when we go to foreign countries to engage in foreign wars, one of our strategies is hearts and minds. When we get there, our military does the best they can to ingratiate themselves to the population, right? That they're trampling over, setting up military bases in, overseeing. We can afford Afghanistan and Iraq hearts and minds, right? We can afford the effort to them, but we can't afford it here. What happened to hearts and minds here? This is your people. Can't be bothered? Can't be bothered making this as easy as possible? No. You need authoritarian shows of power trampling through what is called the Ellis Island of the West, MacArthur Park. It's a statement.
They'll try to repair the narrative, but Brett Breaks Things will be back tomorrow to break it all down.